Dun, 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 dun. We are the Muses.
Meandering Muses.
Hello. Hello, good morning, and to you, good evening, and welcome to today's Valentine's Day episode 2025. Well, this is not, okay, it's not actually Valentine's Day today, but at the time that this goes up, in theory, hopefully, it will be like a week-ish after Valentine's Day, and we're recording it like 10 days before Valentine's Day, so yeah. Let's get started with a little bitty warm-up question. Speaking of warm, what's in your mug, Cat?
Ooh, well, I have tea, and partly because I love tea and it's sadly too late for coffee. Every time we chat, you always have coffee in your mug. I'm like, I should get a cup of coffee. And I'm like, wait, no, that will quite literally destroy me. Yeah.
Parent.
Um, Yeah, but right now it is a concoction of Czech herbs found in the native landscape that has like full vitamins. One of the moms I know made it for me. I'm so very happy and thankful.
That's
Um,
so sweet. I
and
love that your parents, well,
right.
the parents of your students do that. That's so sweet.
Mhm. No, it's really, really sweet. And I have added honey and lemon on top of that
Mm.
because I'm trying to just bombard my system because everybody at school is getting sick. I felt myself get sick. I got that tickle in the throat. That's like
Uh,
that dry cough where it doesn't know if it wants to be a cough or not.
oh
Just feeling kind of queasy
no.
today, and I'm not sure if it's because of the cold or because guess what? I've also started my period because timing is everything.
Cheers. Cheers to that. Love when
Oh,
my
yep.
biology reminds me that I'm female.
And in like the most weird way possible. It's not like, oh yeah, you look really sexy today. It's like no, it's like the hey, by the way, your hormones are changing. You are craving sugar because we're changing, so you're gonna need all that extra little sugar in
And
you,
by the way, you're not pregnant.
right? And like on my end, I'm like, yes. Like on your end, it's like, oh, that's actually okay. That's something good to know. On mine, I'm like, I would hope not.
Yeah, immaculate
I'm not ready.
conception.
Right? I am not ready to be a part of some historical, like religious story here. I am not ready for that. That's not
Oh
my
my
timeline.
gosh. My baby's laughing at me laughing.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
and I'm just we're not ready yet. I mean, maybe maybe when she's like 3 or something. 3 or 4. Give me a slight age
Mm-hmm.
gap. I'm still trying to remember my body. Like I'm trying to get my body back to me. It's not the like pre-baby body kind of thing. No, it's more like I had a baby and all of like my hormones and everything changed and all of that. And then I continued to give my body to the baby because we nursed. Well, we're still nursing.
Yeah.
We're in the weaning process, but 2 years of letting her
Yeah.
steal my calories and hydration. Hydrate.
Right. Hydrate.
Yeah.
But I mean, then that's one of those things that you've talked to me about. It's like, I love my child, but so much touching. I'm so ready
So
to be
much
done.
touching. So much touching. Oh yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to miss it. And I love that,
Mhm.
there is a built-in free way to feed her. Um, but also like ADHD, overstimulation, touchy, feely all the time. Like I
Mhm.
was telling you before we started recording, like last night I was asleep between my husband and my child, and I had her knee in my side and his elbow was like here, and I was just like, everyone's touching me. Ah. Yeah, that's
Not fun.
hmm yeah. No, I've
Mhm.
derailed us, but that's okay. I'm like,
No,
I have
I mean,
apparently
we're
gone on a rant,
meandering.
but yeah, that was, it's okay. It's as usual, we have a couple notes of what maybe we'd like to touch on, but apparently I needed to go on that tangent today, so
It's fine. That's fine.
hashtag
And,
parent
you
life.
know, right? And Valentine's Day is about love. It's about self-love. It's about loving your children. It's about loving your spouses or your parents. So like, because I mean, I used to do Valentine's Day stuff with my mom.
Hmm.
Like I made
There.
um butterflied lobster tails for my mom
Oh,
with like
wow.
a yeah,
Miss
yeah, I
Fancy
was
Pants
fancy,
over here. Oh my gosh. I mean,
right?
I'm allergic to it, but it sounds so fancy.
Right? But no, it's like I did that for my mom and we did the whole candlelight, candlelit dinner, the whole like, I we had like a thing of flowers, we had the lobster tails, we had some store-bought cake, like, but just like, to make it like a little special thing, you know?
I love
Um,
that. That's great.
yeah.
I don't remember. I don't know if we've got plans for Valentine's Day, at the moment. I know JM's going out of town, assuming that he doesn't get sicker. He's going out of town this weekend for a friend's birthday. Um, yeah, that'll be super fun. I'm very excited for him to hang out with this friend. It's been at least a couple years, I think. So, yeah, I'm hoping he is well enough to be able to travel. Um, and then I mean, Valentine's Day is a Monday, so that's also a work day for him. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, though, like, people make such a big deal about Valentine's Day. It's like the love day, flowers and candles and bouquets and roses and chocolates and stuff. And just like, I don't know, we're not super. I don't think we've ever been super big, showy, flashy type
You mean
love.
no human-sized teddy bear? No 500 roses? I'm not throwing shade on anybody who does do that. Like I love oversized stuffed toys. But like
The
at the
Costco
same
ones, I
time,
think, are bigger than me. So,
right? But at the same time it's like there's, like it's more just like a what? You're not into all of this stuff?
yeah, I think it's just, yeah. I mean, everybody's different, and we do like to, do the gestures here and there. It's just,
Yeah.
and we do like our dinners. But we as a couple are also trying to find ourselves again post as a couple post parenthood because people don't talk
Yes. Oh
about
my
that, but
gosh.
like when you're in that whole cycle of sleep deprivation and one parent works and one parent uh is full-time caregiving and like it sometimes feels like your schedules never quite match up, especially because he's an early bird and I'm a night owl, so it's like
Oh.
so
Yeah.
um but it's like really nice to just reconnect, remind ourselves why we love each other and stuff like that. So
And I feel
um
like that's what Valentine's Day is. It's not
mhm.
meant to be like this is the one day you show all the love and you like love bomb someone. We're like,
Exactly.
here's the roses and the teddy bear and the fancy dinner. It's more just like a reminder of like, oh, right, let's make that time to
Hmm.
say that we care. You
Exactly.
know, yeah. Because like my
Yeah.
sister's love language is words of affirmation. My mom's love language is acts of service, and my love language is quality time. So like we're all so different. So
Oh
like
my
having that
goodness.
day
Yeah.
of just being like, have you told your loved ones that you love them? Just checking.
Right? Yeah. And I like the quality
Mhm.
time. But I also know my husband is very into affection shown through physical touch. And that's not just the obvious. It can be, holding his hand, giving him a hug, playing with his hair, stuff like that. And he has great hair. So
Super
um
gorge. It's wonderful.
it is. It is. I'm like, I fell in love with the fro first. Haha, I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. I don't even
Um,
think he had a fro
mhm,
at the time that we met. I think he might have had a
mhm.
fade, and then he grew out his fro in like that first year of us dating. But like, yeah.
Yeah, but like so in terms of updating news, last episode you were talking, well, because last episode was Shakespeare.
Yes,
You were
Shakespeare.
talking about dramaturgy and kind of the work that you're, getting into. So if you want to talk about that, because I always love hearing about it. So.
Oh, thanks, Kat. Um, yeah, so some exciting updates for me, because I have, as I think we've mentioned way too many times at this point, I'm a stay-at-home parent. I've been at home for about excuse me, hold on. I've been at home for about 2.5 years, and I took a hiatus from university basically, uh, to be the parent, and I was just starting to get into dramaturgy, which is the that sort of research development side of theater. So like making sure um okay, so the biggest example for me is when I was dramaturging Marisol, which I love. That was such a great experience dramaturging. I was dramaturging Marisol, and the main character, Marisol, is a Puerto Rican lady in who's from the Bronx, and it's set in the 90s. Now, we had the most amazing Marisol. We had the most amazing Boricua queen playing Marisol. And so she had the lived experience of being Puerto Rican. What she did not have was any experience of what the Bronx would have been like in the 90s, because she wasn't born yet. So I was one
Mhm.
of the few classmates who was alive in the 90s, but I wouldn't have known what the Bronx was like in the 90s either because I was born in 91. I was an actual literal child in the 90s and I was in California. But yeah, so it's the research side, and it was a great experience, and I did my internship with Dr. Philip Kelly, who was the resident dramaturg of Cal Shakes. I think I might have mentioned this last episode, but it's been, I don't know, a couple weeks. But where was I, Kat? My brain died.
Dramaturgy, who you recently dramaturged for,
Right. Yes.
in Cal
Thank you.
Shakes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because yeah, I think we did mention Cal Shakes because we talked about Winter's Tale. But so that got me into dramaturging Shakespeare, and recently-ish, like in the past couple of years actually, um, I made a friend named Janine through the Shakespeare Online Repertory Theater, which uh I did participate in one of their productions of Romeo and Juliet. I'll link it. I think we talked about it. We're meandering backwards a little, I guess. Anyway, so my friend Janine co-founded a theater recently. So I
Yes.
met Janine through Shakespeare Online Repertory Theater, and we were talking about dramaturgy, and she started a theater. She co-founded Theater for Hope and Healing. Um, and it takes a slow theater approach, and it's a brand new theater starting up in Chicago this year. Like they're literally doing their first performances next month. We'll get to that. But oh, you have a question?
No, yes. What is slow theater approach?
Slow theater approach, it's kind of, I'm gonna have to get Janine on at some point to explain this more
Mm.
to us because it is her concept, I believe. But it's in this world of like fast-paced theater, loud theater, like controversial theater, and like getting all psychological, thrillery, all of that. It's like approaching theater more slow, calm, gentle, therapeutic,
Mhm.
grounding yourself in your body, stuff like that. And again, I'm gonna I'm doing my bestest to see if we can get Janine on to talk about this. But it's something to that effect. And I love it. I've loved this ever since she started talking to me about it. Um, but one of the projects that she's doing is she's working on a Hamlet adaptation. And I like it. I'm not going to spoil it because it's still, it's still in draft, but it's going to be a a more modern retelling, and she needed a dramaturg. So she hit me up, and Or I guess I hit her up, question mark. I don't remember. It's been a long time, but life was getting in the way. And so this year I reached out and she was like, yes, I still want to work on the project. And yes, I'd still love you to dramaturg. So I'm like, um, and so I was having trouble figuring out where to start with the dramaturgy process. And what do? When you don't know where to start, you start at the beginning. So I'm going to be revisiting Hamlet. Yeah. And I'm very
Love
excited about
Hamlet.
that. I loved your story about the first Hamlet you got to see, so that was super
Yeah.
awesome. And actually,
Mm.
because
Yeah.
I
My
just
my
started, oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, my dark little heart actually learned as a middle schooler before I had to. I learned the soliloquy.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Actually, because I've started editing the Shakespeare episode, and so, we were talking about Dark Little Hearts and Shakespeare's soliloquy, or Hamlet's soliloquies, because he has what, nine of them?
God,
Uh,
yeah.
I think he's got the most in all Shakespeare. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah.
Please, down in the
Um,
comments, if Megan's wrong, correct her.
yes, please. I need to know. I mean, I'm probably gonna look it up, but I'm totally fine if anyone wants to be pedantic and be like, well, actually, um, but
We
uh,
encourage pedanticness. Please join us in the pedantic corner.
right? And please ignore the fact that my child is yanking on my headphones. Um, what was I talking about? Oh, it reminded me that my friend Katie actually played Hamlet, um, in a production at, I think, SJSU. Might have been directed by Skate, actually. Sarah Kate Anderson, who is kind of like the person who got me into Shakespeare and dramaturgy. They didn't set me up with my internship. That was actually Professor Amy Glazer. Um, but Skate has connections with Shakespeare and Company, and uh, was directing the Zoom Slaw uh, online for during the pandemic. But like, yes, Skate is awesome. Skate is actually the reason I got into like Shakespeare dramaturgy, like hardcore. It was funny because I mean, I was in this production as a player, like I was cast for it anyway. Like I went into the auditions knowing that I wanted the Shakespeare show. But Skate is really the one who on the side was like, you know what? You've been telling me you are interested in dramaturgy. Would you like to turg our show? And they had like extra hours where if anyone wanted to, they could come and work on their lines or scenes with Skate on the side. And I just decided, my of my own volition, that I basically showed up to every single one of those office hours just for funsies to nerd out about Shakespeare. It wasn't even like, hey, let's talk about my specific trajectory through our show. It was, hey, Skate, let's talk about Shakespeare. Like it's basically like what we are doing now, but
Oh yeah.
in the like sort of mentor student setting.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I'm talking too much
Um,
this episode. It's your turn. Talk. You talk. I'm just gonna.
my turn. Um,
Yay!
so, um, on one end, you have Shakespeare writing these beautiful sonnets, which everyone quotes. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Ugh, iconic. And you have all these beautiful references and these ideas of love in the comedies where, love triumphs all, you get married in the end, like
Everyone
happiness
gets
abounds.
married. Everyone, including the side characters.
Everyone, right? No, like it is it's either everyone dies or everyone gets married. We've talked about that before. But then you have the other side, and this happens in the comedies as well, where there are some asides that are written, or the dramatic points where, you know, Shakespeare writes these things and the characters say things like "get thee to a nunnery," which the only reason that's probably going to be allowed on YouTube is because it's too old of an English phrase to be censored. Um, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
nice thing to say to anybody, and it does not mean get yourself to a place where nuns live. That's not what it means. It's not where nuns live. That's called a convent. Um, yeah. So, you have that phrase, which Hamlet says to his childhood best friend, the love of his life, the one that he's like, we're gonna get through this. I'm gonna become king. I'm gonna marry you. And then when he's doing the play within the play of for himself, even of being that crazy, I see ghosts, I see dead people, and she's concerned. Yeah. So, in Hamlet, he's doing the play within the play, but it's also for himself. He is not even, being himself. He's being this character of himself, even in the off moments. So when he's not in front of his uncle and his mom, he's still acting that crazy loon of a character. And when Ophelia is kind of like, hey, my man, my friend, you know, what's going on? Like, do you need help? Like, I love you. Like, let's just get out of here. Like, we can try and find a life somewhere else. Like, you know, he he says, get thee to a nunnery. And it's heartbreaking,
Why is it always like in the middle of the girl showing like concern
right?
that it's like
It's
I think we were talking about this pre our actual recording, but like in Much Ado, it's the same deal, Leo. Like during the wedding, he
oh,
starts freaking out over what feels like nothing because she has no idea that people have been whispering in his ear. And so she's like,
mm,
what's going on? Are you okay? Essentially. I say she. It was me.
yeah.
But Hero is basically like, what's wrong? What did I do? I didn't do anything. What did I do? Kind of thing. And he's just like, fie you. And I think the words are wanton stale. Something about or like an there's something about an orange as well. I'm gonna have to look it up. But like he calls her all sorts of horrible names. And this is a comedy where they're supposed to be in love. These are the
Um,
young lovers, and he calls her a whore
yeah. And
at their wedding in front of the
I think it's
priest.
actually kind of the interesting thing is yeah. Oh my gosh. I think the main difference is that the reason why that's a comedy is because they then take the time to write it in the end to make
Hmm.
sure that the ship sails, that
Yeah,
the
yeah, well,
love goes
yeah, because
on,
there
they
has
actually
to
do
be
get
the
married.
whole thing of
Right,
contrition and so on. She
right.
doesn't just forgive him.
The main difference is that it's given the time in Much Ado to right the wrong. The young
Hmm.
lovers go from I hate you, you're crazy, blah 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 blah, blah into the hey look, we have also an older couple helping us figure out what's going on.
Figure out our ish. Yeah.
Whereas
And there is
yeah,
genuine
whereas
remorse
Hamlet
shown.
doesn't. Yes.
Whereas Hamlet doesn't,
Yeah.
and everybody dies. Everybody. Except Horatio.
He
Go
needs to be the one to
Horatio.
tell everyone else what happened. I mean, the entire royal family just died. He has to be the one
Hmm.
going, okay, so it wasn't me. To start off, it wasn't me.
I'm having
And also, here's what happened.
flashbacks. I'm having flashbacks to the giant chandelier thing, the chandelier scene in the Brana Hamlet. It's just so over the top. I love Brana, and I love that he had such a
Can't get
passion
a
for
gif of
Hamlet.
that.
Yeah, yeah, I might have to find a clip. But like, just the Derek Jacobi, like, oh my god, I'm just like,
But yeah, but I mean, and that's the difference is because you have this pair of young lovers. He's just come back from university. They're going to start the life together, but his father has died, which is why he's back from university. And then he's like,
exactly.
"Oh my gosh, my father's been poisoned." And also, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it for anyone. This is a like over 100-year-old play, so not my fault. Um, but then you have, just all of these things happen. he's meeting up with his young love again. Clearly there's that attraction, but he's dealing with all this stuff. And instead of talking to her, instead of being like, hey, let's work together to get the snakes out of the garden, to get the rotten out of our Denmark, he's like, I will take it all on myself, not tell anyone, tell the girl I love to get thee to a nunnery. And then when she goes insane because the reason why it was get thee to a nunnery is because they'd been betrothed since young that they were going to get married. So clearly they had had fun times together, adult fun times together, and because he was rejecting her, and she was going, but I love you, and we clearly have a thing. He's like, well, I don't love you anymore, and you're screwed because, you're
I
messed up
literally screwed
goods,
you
which
over.
is not true. Yeah, quite literally screwed you and then screwed you over. Um,
Yep. Yep.
and and then that's why it's
And
get thee to a nunnery, is because you are no longer pure. You can't go to a
mm-hmm.
convent. You must go to
Yeah.
a nunnery.
Mm-hmm. I was
It's
reading, I
it's
don't remember where I was reading this uh discussion, but I was reading a really interesting conversation about um basically that and like I think it might have had to do with uh marital names, basically, like the girl
hmm,
taking on the man's name and how it was of because back in the day we were property. And so we went from being our father's property to being our husband's property, and that's why the name changed. But
they
also,
transferred ownership.
yes, exactly. And so and by that same token, virginity was more about ownership than purely for the sake of purity, like moral purity.
Also, the phrase "I'm going to make an honest woman out of you."
Because
It's
you know,
because
just it was only her virtue at stake.
once they're
This
married,
is
well,
such a
then it's
happy,
assumed.
peppy Valentine's Day
Oh, happy
episode.
Valentine's Day, everybody! Oh my gosh!
Post
But
Valentine's Day. This is the post Valentine's Day
post Valentine's
episode, I
Day.
guess.
But it's this idea of very complicated levels of like, you can love someone and still hurt someone. And he
Hmm.
deals with that a lot. Shakespeare deals with that a lot. Like, you
Hmm.
have the idea of parents loving children and messing things up. Montagues and Capulets, they are so angry at each other, and then the second both their children die, they're like, "We were so stupid," and it
Yeah,
shows
and
that their
on the
love for their
flip side
children.
of that, on the flip side of that, Hero's dad literally is like, I disown you. Basically, in our show, it was my mom, but literally, it was like, my child that I love so much, you're dead to me. And the priest literally has to like
Um,
talk him down and be like, okay, you know what? We're going to pretend she's dead. But also, you need to calm yourself. I'm.
Um, and so you have moments like that, but then you have these beautiful, like absolutely beautiful moments. Um, like in that same play, you have the main couple. So not the lovers that, are, the little lovers, the ones that
Not the
immediately fall in love, they're about to
Inamorata,
get married.
not the young lovers,
Yes.
the B
Yes.
team, not the B team, but Benedict and Beatrice. Come on, it's Benedict and Beatrice.
It's no, but
Okay.
I love it how some plays really play into that, like the David Tennant when they do that one, and they really are just like, we're gonna hammer it
Senor
home that this is his
Benedict.
name.
Yeah. No, no, there's a reason his name is Benedict and not Benedict.
Yes. Um, and so, but one of the things is like you have their couple, which is, I mean, it starts off as kind of a adversaries, full on enemies, but they
Well,
were kind of
they've
enemies to
got
lovers.
history. They've got
Oh
history.
yeah.
There's a reason.
Oh yeah.
I remember
Ooh.
back in the day. Okay, I remember back in the day because of course, this show is so near and dear to my heart. But I remember talking to, I don't know if it was my prima, but I remember making the remark that Edward and Claudio were like Jane and Bingley, where, like at the end of Pride and Prejudice, the parents are talking and they're like, they're just so good natured, they're always gonna overspend and get cheated by their servants. That's Hero and Claudio. Benedict and Beatrice are the couple that are going to have a huge blowout fight and super hot makeup sex afterwards. That was,
Yeah.
that's Benedict and Beatrice.
But also in the moment of need where her cousin had just been slighted, and been announced to the entire world at her wedding that
Oh my God,
she is
yeah.
not suitable to have a wedding night because of her purity. Um, she goes to him as kind of the only one she can trust, but also like she says, like, if I were a man, ooh, if
I
I were
love
but a man.
that specific monologue so much. I
Oh,
love that so much.
so much. But she can have that raw emotion because she trusts him so much to be like, you're the only one I can share these raw emotions because he's trying to woo her. He's like,
Yeah,
tell me what I
at
can
that point,
do.
they're already in the middle of that big setup,
Yeah.
but we have to, in order for this to be true and not just completely superficial, she bears her soul, and he's like, oh shit, I have to challenge my best friend to a duel.
And and it's not just the kind of simping of like, oh my God, if I want to marry her, I have to challenge him to a duel. It's like, oh, he has done something so heinous
So
to
heinous.
somebody
I was
she
literally just
loves.
gonna say heinous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And the only way for her honor to stay intact, and the only one that can do a duel, who can participate in the duel, is another man, not a
Mm-hmm.
woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to step up because the woman I love cannot do it herself.
Right? And I
She
feel
wants
like
to.
it's such a profound moment of empathy for Benedict. In a play where he does so much up to that point cheek. Like there's so much mucking about and teasing and sarcastic remarks and all of that. There's so much teasing and comedy. It's such a grounding moment of the play.
Yes. And that's why they're the main couple,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
because you have that time to go from tongue in cheek to this is a serious moment, this is where I'm at, and he
Mm-hmm.
meets her there. He doesn't go tongue in cheek, but he also doesn't go like, oh, but woe is me, I am a man who is suffering as well. He goes, and I have to fight my best friend. He goes, okay, let me just take a moment to process everything that's going through my head, but I'm here. And it's beautiful. And the time, every time that I see that section performed, that part of the
Every
play
time.
performed, like,
Every time. It's so good. And I'm forever jealous that I don't think I ever got to watch that moment in our show because,
mm,
well, at the top of it, I'm on the floor. But and actually there's a fun little moment, I say fun, I guess poignant is probably a better word, but there's this poignant little moment that Isabel used to telling me about, where after I collapse and I'm crying and she's trying to comfort me, this was a her moment, a her character moment. But my wedding dress was covered in these beautiful little tiny beads that were sewn to the dress, and every time I'd faint, some of the beads would scatter and like roll off, and she would like try to pick them up. Like she was grasping at the beads, just trying to hold it all together. And then after I'm let off, she has to have this moment with Benedict, and I think she still has pearls in her hand. It's like literally clutching at these pearls while she's bearing her soul. And I
mhm.
really wish I could have seen it in performance because I watched her through the rehearsal process of it, and I mean, oh, just every time it kills me. And just, I love that show so much. I love that play so much.
Yes, and one of my favorite plays, the one that I hold dearest to my heart in the comedies is Twelfth Night. Um, and and we can talk about Midsummer because that's also really fun. But first is Twelfth Night because you have, and it's one of my favorites. It's, you know, the male actor is a female character who then has to become a male character in disguise who falls in love with the male main character, and then they realize, oh shoot, we love each other, and then it's like, oh, but it's okay. Which, it's one of those things where it's like, ah,
Oh my
shucks,
gosh.
why can't you just let love be love? But that's just the
Didn't you
thing. They
play
fall
these
in love.
characters? Didn't you play? You need to explain this because I'm always ing about my acting-y things. I think you
Yeah.
need to explain this
So
because people need
it was
context.
not official acting. It was for one, it was my Shakespeare class. It was my senior year of college, and we did a small performance at the end of the year. And there weren't enough people in our because we did the ending scene of Twelfth Night,
Oh
and there
gosh.
weren't enough of us to do all the players. And so it's like, okay, well, which character are we going to sacrifice? But they all have dialogue lines. Like, I could just do the twins because no one looks like me. And I already wanted to be Viola, so I'm like, so clearly I need to be the other twin. So I was just up with the twin, and I did not pick the best. I did not pick the best wardrobe for this because I was thinking like, oh, I could like make the tie go loose and then tight and then loosen the tight. Did not work. And I didn't want to take off my hat because my hair, which was much longer at the time, it was like down to my ass, was way too thick, and so I had it up in the hat.
Oh
So if I had
gosh.
taken off the hat and put it back on, it would have wasted all of the effort that I had done.
Oh my gosh.
So, right? So here I
And
am.
you couldn't
And so what I
like
did was I
Jekyll
had
and
the tie
hide
down
it
and then I had
where
to
you're
like yank the tie away and then put it back and yank the tie. And I kept moving my spot as well to
oh god.
really like pinpoint, like, here's one of them, here's the other, here's one of them.
It's reverse
And
your original Hamlet
even the cast got
experience.
so confused because again, this isn't like, and it was so great. But anyway, but like, it's one of those things where one of my favorite versions of this that I've seen in film is the one where, and of course I'm forgetting all the actors' names because, but she plays Bellatrix Lestrange.
Oh,
She is Olivia.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Yes. Yes. Oh, she's amazing. But it's really fun because she's so young in it. Like, and so she plays
Oh, I've heard
the,
of this version. I haven't
the
watched
love.
it. I'm gonna need to, but I've heard of this version.
Oh, you have to. It is so much fun. But it's really cool because basically the plot, spoiling it for everybody,
Spoiling
is
Shakespeare?
that there's a shipwreck. The twins, right? But there's a shipwreck. The twins get stuck on this island, and so she can't find her male twin, and she is a female. She is a woman on a foreign island, and she's like, I am so gonna die. So she dresses up as her brother because she found some clothes because shipwreck. So she found some clothes and she's like, great, I already have this act I do with my twin brother where we pretend to be each other, So I can do this. She runs into the Duke. The Duke hires her as a like messenger to Olivia, who has forsworn all men because her brothers just died. She's like, for 7 years, I don't want to talk to men. Just leave me alone. I'm in mourning. I feel so bad for her because probably it's because the Duke has been just harassing her constantly. Like, I love you, marry me. And she's like, oh. So,
He's like,
but she's in
be
mourning
my
clothes,
Christian to my Cyrano, or vice versa.
right? No, exactly. And so, like, basically, he's like, hey, can you hand her this love letter? Can you woo her for me? And she's like, oh, sure, this is a good gig. I'm not doing any manual labor. I'm also not getting harassed. I like this. She goes to Olivia's mansion and she is so smooth with her words that Olivia falls in love. And so now Olivia is giving her attention and she's going, no, I can't do this. Because not only is the Duke going, hey, hey, does she like me yet? Does she like me yet? And also, by the way, she's starting to get a crush on the Duke.
Right,
Because,
right, right. Because hijinks ensue.
right? But there's this one scene where, like, they've been kind of, joshing around. They've been having a great time. They've really grown closer, the Duke and Viola. And it's the minstrel scene where there's one in every play where the minstrel gets to sing a tune. And they're stuck in this barn in the movie version. They're kind of stuck in this barn, and there's just this moment during this very romantic song where the Duke looks over at Viola, his messenger, his male messenger, and just thinks, "Oh, I'm in love," and then goes, "Oh shit, I'm in love." No, but I'm in love. Like you can just see that phase of it's love, and
He has a Shang
and it's just
moment.
this
For what it's worth, I think you're a great captain.
wonderful moment. Oh, but it's great because you have this moment because that happens in such a quiet moment, and it's really fun to see in each play where that I'm in love. Oh no, I'm in love. But I'm in love. Like this like weird oscillation of feelings because there's always one character that has it in the comedies. So it's just like one of those things, but it's like it was so beautiful the way that they captured it in the film version. Um,
Oh,
and it's
now
just
I'm
a lot
gonna
of
have
fun.
that to look forward to. We have to put it on the list. We
Yes.
have to
Oh my
make
God.
a list, Kat. We have to make a list so that we can watch all these things we keep telling each other to watch. And I apologize to everybody having to listen to my baby sing the ABCs over us. I did try to mute here and there so that Kat could finally speak uninterrupted for more than 30 seconds, but I can't right
But
now.
no, it's great. But so you have that form of love. And again, I feel like that's such a cool form of love because it's like they fall in love with the personality of the person instead of just being like, oh, you're a boy. Oh, you're a girl. Hi. Sort of
Right?
thing. And it's more just
It's
like a,
not
oh my God,
just
I'm in love with
and there
you.
was only one
Yeah.
bed kind of situation. It's
I love
this
I
person
love
I'm
reading that
vibing with
situation.
this person.
But I do oscillate between loving the there was only one bed, and the like, no, like let's take the time to like just fall in love with the person. I'm like, ah.
Yeah. Sorry to everybody, but that devolved into chaos a little bit. So, we took a mini break and now we are back just in time to wind down the episode, hopefully. But Kat had some ideas, some quotes or something
Just some
to
like
share.
some fun quotes. We were talking about Much Ado About Nothing. This is a quote from Much Ado About Nothing, Act 4, Scene 1, line 281. If anyone's curious, I do love nothing in the world so well as you. Is not that strange? Which is just like so wonderful, but also that just like moment of like, well, isn't it strange? Like, come on. I love you the most. What the heck? Um,
Right? I mean,
it's
it's
like the sweetest and
so
like also,
pure,
oh,
and but also it's her realizing how strange that is because she's been like, wait, is that her? That is her, right?
that is her, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, because that's after what a couple of acts of snipping at each other, realizing,
Yeah.
wait, I actually love you.
Yeah. And here's another one from the same play. I don't know who says it because this is just kind of all here. This is from Act 5, Scene 2. Um, I will live in thy heart, die in thy lap, and be buried in thy eyes.
That might be Benedict, and it's
I
so
think so,
pretty.
right?
That's
Because like
so
it's
pretty.
one of those things where you
That's
go, oh my gosh, so you get
poetry.
to see
That's
the whole
Shakespeare
world.
being all poetry.
Oh, I know, right? But it's one of those things where it's like it's beautiful, but it's also a little dark, you know? I live in thy heart. It's like, oh, that's beautiful. Like that's so romantic. I die in thy lap. Like, what do you get from that? What do you get from the die in thy lap part?
Oh. It's okay, so this is morbid. Um, but it takes me back to um there so I took care of my mom when she was on hospice. And while I was like coming to terms with what that meant, I watched a documentary about children's hospice, and they asked, I think, one of the doctors or the nurses, like, how, because obviously it was about providing their patients with the utmost of care at the hardest times of their lives. They asked what the nurse or the doctor how they'd want to go. And they said, I would want to live a whole full life and then turn back into a baby and die in my mother's arms. And it's about that unconditional love and security that you feel when you're with that person.
And how intimate is that, to be in your mother's arms and to have that moment?
Right? And I'm like, I'm saying all this as I'm literally cradling my baby, and that's hitting a little harder right now. Um, Happy V-Day, guys.
Yeah. And I feel like, and that's also a very intimate moment for even lovers, the idea
hmm
that it's
Yeah, and
because you think about, lovers whispering sweet nothings in each other's ears or having a beautiful day where they're out in a field and one of them
hmm
has laid their head on the other's lap. Like that's very
hmm
Shakespearean,
yeah. But at the
relaxing.
same
And
time,
it's
it's
like,
so
I'm,
human. It's that vulnerability. That's what that's giving me is, who can you be that vulnerable with? Who do you want there in those moments when it's you're at your most, not basic, but at your most human. There are no masks.
yeah, I mean, there's no need for a mask. I talk about more, but there's no need for a mask when you're literally, you know, sleeping off into the dreamless sleep. And you're in that moment. You want that last moment to be where you are looking up into their eyes. And then here comes the last bit, and be buried in thy eyes.
hmm Yeah.
And like part of that is like, oh, you're dying and then you're getting buried. And so the person watching it, who is taking it into their eyes, into their soul, is this lover. But then also, if you think about it, it's this type of like encompassing. To be buried in something means that it's surrounding you, it's all encompassing.
hmm
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Didn't expect that to get so heavy for the Valentine's Day episode,
Okay,
did
that was
we?
right. And then on other notes, you have Romeo and Juliet, my bounty is as boundless as the sea, my love as deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both
We're both
are
art
infinite.
infinite. Ugh, I
Oh,
love that. Ugh, okay, I think
right?
I think we have to end on that one
Yes.
because
We're ending on that happy note.
yeah, right. I'm like, and on that note, we should probably sign off. But it's
Yeah.
been lovely chatting, Kit Kat.
Yeah. And we will do a
Um,
whole episode on, Midsummer Night's Dream because that deserves its own spotlight.
it
That's just
it
Twelfth Night,
does.
really. But like,
Right, yeah. It's just I'm living in my Hamlet phase slash I obviously lived through a Much Ado phase. So like yeah, but yeah, so that's that that's our Valentine's-y Shakespeare episode, I guess.
Did a lot of
Yeah,
meandering.
a lot of meandering today. And if you the viewers at home or wherever you watch this enjoyed it and you like us or our vibe or Shakespeare or whatever, and you want more of this, then leave us a like, comment, subscribe, follow us for more. Discord down below. If you'd like to join us at all. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, just come and join us for general antics and meanderingness.
Yeah. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
cozy, sometimes it's a little crazy, but all the
And
time it's
sometimes
fun.
we cry. But
I
yeah.
was so close this episode. Oh my gosh.
I'm
Reading
sorry.
those
I'm
quotes at the end.
sorry. I'm sorry. I know, right?
I'm good.
We're okay. Okay. We're
But
all okay. We're okay.
yeah. Well, happy late Valentine's Day to everybody. I hope that you have loved ones, whoever they might be, whatever form they might be in, that, you've told that you loved them or shown that you loved them, whatever their love language is. Whatever your love language is, I hope that you've had a wonderful, wonderful Valentine's Day.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Auntie Cat. Got the wiggles out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Chica, I need to take away the cookies. I think you've had m more than enough cookies. I don't actually know how many the baby has had because I got distracted and she snuck into the cookie bag. Um, but you've had at least two or three. I mean, they are minis and a serving size is like
Still,
nine, but she's two. So
yeah.
we're gonna put that away for now. Okay? Okay? Thank you, baby. And this episode isn't going anywhere near what I thought it was gonna go, but I actually kind of love where we're going. So this is fun. She's wiping her foot on the pull-ups box that I'm using for my laptop to sit on, and it's squeaking like you're so funny. Okay. I'm just kidding.
No, no, we're not starting over fully.
I'm joking. Okay. Okay. We were talking about Hamlet.
But the difference between that and Hamlet is that there was no time given. Because again, it's the tragedy. It's everything is happening too fast. These are very young people, again, Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet. These are young people dealing with very big
Is she doing
issues.
the ABCs?
It's
One
okay.
sec, one sec, one sec. She's singing over you, so I might as well get the whole song out. You can do the ABCs by yourself. A, B, C, S, I, C, E, O, B. You skipped N. Papa do a boy see. That's what she's signing it. Oh, you're so cute. My Zoom is asking if I need to set up professional audio for the music. That means it's recognizing she's holding it too. Why are you
Yeah.
so
Okay, we have to
cute?
keep this in as like a little blooper or something at the end because this needs to be saved. It's so
It's
cute.
gonna be saved. This is my life. We sing ABCs 50 times a day. That's why she's saying mommy more ABC, because she wants me to sing it for her. I don't know
Um,
where we were because that completely
we
derailed us, but
okay.
it was so cute.
Hamlet versus Much Ado. So,
Hamlet versus
as
Much
I was
Ado.
saying,